Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman. I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down, or at this point, should we just say, I want to welcome you to another edition of the Margarita Monday Meetup podcast, baby. Right now, we're only on YouTube, obviously. As I start to kind of build some episodes, I'll look to how you get podcasts up in places. But the one thing we've been doing during this quarantine has been our Margarita Monday meetups. Now, yes, I understand it is Thursday, May 14th. We're a little behind, with Mother's Day and the weekend. It was just kind of busy. Work is, as you always know, is kind of crazy for me, so I haven't had a chance to sit down and edit this stuff. But this week's edition of Margarita Monday Meetups will feature Sue Vuoncino, the second half of our conversation. Last week, we did May the 4th, where I just talked Star Wars, which is a ton of fun. Make sure you guys check out that video. And 2 weeks ago, we talked to Sue in full. We closed out the whole thing, and then after we stopped talking, we kept talking. For about 45 minutes, and the record was going the whole time. So this is a little behind the scenes, inside look at the cinema sit down, where we just kind of chit chat without knowing that the cameras are rolling. But me and Sue had some really good content on some other horror movies to check out, things that we've been watching, that we have watched. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, I love talking to Sue, and then also, if you are a fan of Miss Sue Vuoncino or her husband Chris, together they make up Knock. They have recently just been put on a track. AU5 is the name of the producer DJ. Really loved Sue's voice. Put her on this track called Goodbye. I'm telling you right now, man, go out there. If you got iTunes, Spotify, whatever it is you're listening to music on, search AU5 Goodbye featuring Knock, and you will hear Sue's sultry tones, the tones of an angel coming out of your speakers if you check out that track. Absolutely amazing, man. I know that Sue and Chris are friends of mine, and obviously I hope the best for them, but like, I kid you not. I mean, you guys were here 2 weeks ago when she was dropping just bars for us and blowing my hair back and everybody's hair back. So super talented. Make sure you go check out AU5's track Goodbye featuring Knock, where you can hear this week's guest, Sue Vuoncino, just rip it on vocals, man. She's so good. So make sure you check out that track. I will have a link to the track in the description down below, so it'll at least lead you to either a free version of the track or a spot where you can download it. Like I said, either iTunes or Spotify, whatever you're listening to these days. But make sure you check out that track because it's fantastic, man. Like it's the emotional beats, which the Seaman always loves. It's a good track, man, and Sue just blows it out the water. So make sure you go check out Goodbye by AU5 featuring Knock. And now, without further ado, man, let's jump back 2 weeks ago. Throw it back to the old past, Seaman, and listen to the end of our conversation, which happened after hours, man, off the clock, off the record, but now it's on the record just for you guys. A little behind the scenes action with the old Seaman talking to Sue Vuoncino, one half of Knock Music. Take it away, past Seaman.
If you want to check out that
Excision.
movie Excision, that's definitely. I feel like we spoke about this the last time that you were in, but but yeah, that is a weird fucking movie.
It's gonna go right into my list right out the gate.
I feel like it's Brooklyn Decker, I want to say. If it's not her, it's somebody that looks like her. Equally hot, even though she's like a crazy person in it.
Her name is Anna Lynn McCord, and then
yes.
Ariel Winter from Modern Family is
yes. Yep. But it's like I get goosebumps just thinking about that movie because
I'm always down for that.
I've seen it years ago, and I'm like, every time I think about it, I'm still like, ugh. It's a weird fucking movie.
I like movies that do that, man. That's the Witch for me. I've only ever seen The Witch the one time I saw it in the movie theater because it was an empty movie theater. I was the only one in there, and that scene when she's talking to the devil and like he's walking around her in the movie theater, like surround sound, it goes around me, and I'm like, there's nobody in the theater. I'm like, this is not okay.
You're like, I have to go right now.
Yeah, I live for that shit.
Yeah, if you could achieve that, I am one of the few people that love that movie. That movie is insane. So we could even like talk about that, and like I'll rewatch it. Like
maybe I'll pop it in a set. I love that movie. I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy is in it, who I adore. She's so good. I'll give it another go. Maybe not inside of the movie theater. Maybe it won't be as intense as it was then.
I watched it in the house, and it was still like I still had that similar reaction.
Yeah, man.
It's just the way it's shot. Like it's just you just hear it, and it just like circles you. It's like no,
it's uncomfortable.
What's happening?
But I love getting that feel. That's like my dad one time was like, I don't understand why you watch all these horror movies. My dad's like a real, good Christian man, and like, and he's very sensitive to like the spiritual realm. So like movies like that fuck with him really bad. And he's just like, I don't understand it. And I was just trying to get him off my back. And I literally was bullshitting off my ass. But like the more I think about it, it makes a ton of sense. If you think about like the range of human emotions, you get to practice or feel or kind of experience almost all, at least growing up where like we grew up, like I don't really have too many scary things. Like, I live in the suburbs. It's freaking Waldwick. You've been to Waldwick. Like, it's
Waldwick.
Yeah, like so like for me it's like horror movies are the only place where you can kind of tap into what fear feels like in a safe place. So it's like, so I go to my dad, I'm like, this way, like I know what it like. A lot of people freeze up when they get scared because they don't know how to handle that emotion. I'm like, I've watched so many horror movies. I know what fear feels like. I know when it's coming on. This way, if like I'm ever in an actual scary situation, maybe I won't shut down.
Maybe you could just like predict what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I mean, some idiot's like doing it based off of a scary movie. You're like, asshole! I see you over there. I see you're in the bushes. I see you. I'm not going that way.
No joke. I did that with Kath. We were chaperoning a youth group, like Haunted Maze. And Mrs. Vuoncino did not want to, like, she wasn't about that. I was like,
that's not her bag.
Yeah, I was like, Kath, like, look, it's not that bad. Like, it's a maze, which means like, and it's not really a maze. It's just a walkway. Like, you have to follow it in a certain direction. You know where everything is. The entire time we're going through, I'm like, Kath, there's somebody on that corner. Mrs. Vuoncino, look out over there. So she wasn't getting scared the whole time. And all the actors were like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, I got a mom who's freaking out. I'm not, like, do you know how many times this woman has fed me? I'm not gonna her be scared. She doesn't want to be scared.
Aw, that's sweet.
Quite funny. But yeah, like and my dad like looked at me, he was like, huh, that actually makes sense. I'm like, it does, doesn't it? He's like, did you just come up with that now? It's like, yep, totally did, but it makes a lot of sense, and now I believe it.
That's awesome. It's a valid point.
The other thing I wanted to talk to you about that we didn't talk about, you said that you saw The Invitation?
Yes.
Which I had never heard of it. Whiter had asked me for like recommendations, like for thrillers. So I was like, sometimes I struggle like just pulling them like off the top of my head. So I was like, give me a second. I just pulled up like top, thrillers on Netflix or whatever. And there was like a list of 25. I was going through them and I saw it and I read the description on it. I was like, ooh, this sounds interesting. It's from 2016, which I didn't realize. But what did you think of that movie?
It was cool. Like, the beginning, it's kind of slow and it's stereotypical, California people. And it's, if you know the people that like live here, you're just like, God, because like, you're like, it's so fucking true. And it's sad in a way too. But like, you're like, you just know that there's like this like uneasy feeling. And it's not until like that you don't
it's
exactly
the last 10 minutes of the movie. Yeah,
exactly.
It all explodes.
When they pass around the drinks. Yeah, then it gets nuts. And like, I just like, that was nuts. Like, it was just done in a really creepy way. Like, I love like when they just like single out, like you said, like it's all about the score.
Oh yeah.
And like, just like the second it just goes to fucking chaos and like, it's just that panic, those panic notes everything else kind of going in slow motion. Just like, that's the beauty in movies like that. Like, that's what you're ultimately trying to achieve. Like, I don't know the difference really between like horror and psychological, like I said, anymore, because it's gonna affect everybody in one way or the other, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So it's like that, yeah, like the last like 10, 15 minutes of the movie are just like chaos, but it's just like the way that it's shot is really cool. And like just seeing like the end of it, I think really like takes your breath away too. And you just see like all the lights going on like all over the hills of LA. You're like, my God.
Like, it was one of those, like, I'm watching the movie and Logan Marshall Green is brilliant. That whole freaking film, like he carries the whole film, because for the most part, like I'm sitting there and watching. Like I remember reading the description. It was like, you know, like group of friends come, you know, together for like an unusual reunion, and then like people start dying. I'm like, okay. And like I'm watching the movie. I'm like, man, they're like real close quarters in this house. Like, how are these cult people gonna start killing folks without anyone knowing? And then like nothing happens, like nothing ever happens the whole movie. And like the only stuff that it gets under you because you're riding with him. So like, and I was like, dude, he's right. Like, I don't care what anybody says, they're a cult. Like something fucked up is going to happen. And he's the only one that knows that. And then like the whole movie is just like constantly like, shit, it's not going to happen. Oh, it's not going to. And then when it finally breaks out, you're just like the movie just, it was one of those where I was watching, and kind of my initial reaction was like, I liked it. Like the ending was crazy, which was cool, like for 10 minutes, but like I spent like an hour and 30 not doing a whole lot. And then I think I sat thinking about the movie like for at least a half hour afterwards, where like it just wouldn't go away, because I was like, oh, but like I did like how they did this, and I did like how they did this, and like the tone of the movie is really good. And then when all the fucked up shit happens, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then same thing like, with the light. Like it was when they showed him lighting it, I was like, I don't know what this means, but it definitely has something to do with this cult. And then when they go outside and their eyes start to light up, and they just you start hearing the sirens, and they show the Hollywood Hills are just all these red lanterns, and you're like, oh, it's happening everywhere right now. Like, then all of a sudden, like,
I have such goosebumps right now.
Yeah, like this, I was like, this movie did something, even like really, really subtly. But by the end of the movie, I was like fucked up a little bit. Like,
same.
And like, and I like same way, like the artistic approach to the way, it's Karen something Asian at like her, I can't remember what her last name is, but the way she shoots and moves the film, like the way the camera moves, the way like things slow down sometimes to like slow motion for him, or like get kind of jittery on things with him. Like I loved all that stuff.
Because there was always like that imbalance too, because like you didn't really know what his relationship with his like ex-wife was, and what traumatic event went on between them. Like that really wasn't spoken about. You know,
like you knew it had something to do with his son, and then like you said, like finding out that they were married, and then they never show you or really exactly tell you what happened. All I can think of is either the kid accidentally hit him with the bat and killed him, or like his son said something and pissed off the kid with the bat, and then he just cold cocked. I don't know, but regardless, like you don't need to see or know. Like, you know, son died at this party, and he probably, if he was paying more attention, maybe stopped. Like, it just plays into the things that, like, from a human emotional standpoint, are like, I can empathize or sympathize with that, because like if I was in those shoes, like that's how I would react. And the way he zones out because he can't let go of it, versus the way his wife has just let go of everything, creates such an uneasy balance in the room at all times.
100%. Just like you're just like in that, like in his state of mind the whole time, like where it's just like it's like 10 seconds like behind everybody else, because like he doesn't even really know how to interact with everybody anymore.
Oh yeah. And it's funny because like the whole movie, I was just like, no, man, I'm riding with Logan Marshall Green. Like, I know that like something is messed up is going to happen, and he's right. And like halfway through the movie, like he starts being the one freak out, and I'm like, oh man, is he gonna be like the lynch? But like, is he really the one that's crazy? And like, not every, like she did a good job of at least misdirecting enough where for a second I was like, maybe he's gonna have like a mental breakdown and be the reason people start dying. Yeah, it was an interesting one.
Yeah, it was somebody that I work with suggested that movie like a while back, and I always like, you know, just came across it like when looking for other movies to watch, and I was like, not right now, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I finally like sat down with it, and I was like, by the end of it, like there's just something that sits with you that's kind of like unsettling, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Did you watch another good Netflix one, The Perfection, with what's her? I can't think of her first name, but it's Brian Williams' daughter, Allison Williams, where she's like
Perfection.
She's like a former like music prodigy at the school, and like she comes back for like a thing and meets like the new prodigy, and they kind of start to have like this friendship, and then like all this weird fucked up stuff starts happening, and like there's like it's fucked, like it's a fucked movie. Like
really?
there's a sequence on a bus that like you just sit there and you're like, what the fuck am I watching right now? And then you get like through that aspect of the movie that's kind of messed up, and then they show you like what's really going on underneath everything that you're watching, and you're just like, it's just fucked. It was another one of those ones that had like, I think, a pretty decent like critic response, but like audiences were very split on it because it's so fucked up. Yeah, if
I like that though. Like I would rather watch something that just like leaves me like unsettled.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it'll
Perfection.
definitely, it's called The Perfection. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original, I think. It's got Allison Williams.
The Perfection. Okay. Did you watch Suspiria? Did we talk about Suspiria?
The new one?
Yeah.
I don't know if we've talked about it, but I've seen it.
Okay. Did you watch the old one also?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, you've seen the original Suspiria?
I watched the new one, and I don't know whether can't tell if like I was like kind of like scared. I'm gonna be totally honest. I like kind of fast forward through like the whole like last scene.
And the end of the movie is so like dark. Because
I knew where it was going. So like part of me was like, oh, it was just a forever movie to me. Like, and there were really cool parts. And
it's a long movie.
I fucking love what's her name?
Dakota Johnson.
I'm drawing a blank.
Dakota Johnson.
No.
Tilda Swinton.
Yes. Oh my god.
Tilda's great. She's so good at those weird roles.
Oh my god, I know. Wait, I just watched something too, like not too long ago before that, where oh fuck, I just know like her house gets covered in blood and stuff like that. I think she was in an accident or something.
Huh.
I don't know, but that was sick. I'm gonna look for it and I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, let me know whatever that one is.
She was also.
I love her. She's so good.
I'm gonna come back. I know that we keep doing these little like branch offs, but sorry, I have total ADD. Did you ever see We Need to Talk About Kevin?
No.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So she's the mom of a kid who has like crazy psychological disorders, and he does some crazy shit. But that's a good one to watch too. But just because anything she does is brilliant.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. So like Suspiria, like I kind of like it just felt so long, and like there were really cool parts to it. But it was another one of those movies where.
Did you see the original?
I watched the new one, and then everybody was like, oh, the original's so much better. I put it on, and I like put it on for like a half an hour, and then I was like, I'm kind of bored. I probably should have done that the other way. Yeah,
well, it's one of those things where like I think like anytime you go back to like linchpin moments in movies, like in movie history, like that movie, like that was like one of the biggest like cult turning points in like horror movies, because it just like took things to a place people hadn't seen before. Culturally, I understand the significance of the movie, and I like the original Suspiria. It's dark, it's twisted. I think the storytelling in the new one is a little bit more clear than the original one, and I thought they did a good job adding to it. I have an issue with most movies that go over 2 hours. Horror movies should never go over 2 hours.
No, yeah,
that was my biggest problem.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with Midsommar was the fact that it was a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's too much for a horror film, but I liked that it went more into the witch's coven than like the original movie did, and like that last scene, as dark and like twisted and bloody and fucked up as it is, like I was like, that was like the moment where I had to watch the movie I think I saw it twice, maybe 3 times before I really grasped what the hell was going on during that sequence, because the first time I saw the movie I was so big. So like by the time I got to the end, I was like, "What is happening?" And then like I kind of got it a little bit more like the second time I watched it. But there's just like, that movie is worth the watch because one, it like it gets under your skin, does all of those types of things, and just Dakota Johnson's really strong in it. Tilda Swinton's amazing, and the dance sequences alone, I think, are worth watching the movie. Like,
oh my god, I love the costumes. Ugh.
The costumes are great, and then like when she does like her like audition performance, and it's breaking that girl down in the basement's body apart.
Sick.
Like that
part was sick.
Those elements of the movie like were a step up, I think, from the original, or they built off of what the original did in a way where I was like,
probably,
that's a really unique and interesting way to do that. And like, fucked up. I just love fucked up movies. I really do.
Yeah. And not as a complete comparison because they have totally different storylines, but like if you're gonna watch stuff about ballerinas and like in a fucked up setting, I'd rather watch Black Swan. Day in and day out.
I love that movie.
I just watched it 2 nights ago. I'm obsessed with it. That's like one of my top favorite movies.
Natalie
I love
Portman.
that movie. I'm obsessed with Natalie Portman.
That movie.
I love her.
I came home. I sat down. I'll have to send it to you if I can find it. I sat down and I wrote like 3 or 4 pages of like a dream sequence that I had planned to use in like a book when I thought writing books was a good idea. Maybe I'll come back and use it in the screenplay. But it's like the main character has dreams that kind of give him visions of things that kind of help him in investigating the crimes that he's investigating. But he has this dream sequence where he essentially, his like arch nemesis is somebody who decapitates people. So like it involves like the decapitation of like his partner, but like the person who does the decapitating is like it's not a black swan, but it's like a raven, and the raven like becomes giant and like ends, and like he's like trapped and he watches all this stuff. It's like one of the most twisted things I've ever written, and I love it to death. I'll have to send it to you. I'll find it.
That's awesome.
I love it to death because I've never edited it, so it's not like spell checked or grammatically always correct, because I just like sat down and just typed for like
I would love to hear that.
minutes.
That's awesome.
It's dark, like it's a twisted sequence. Like when I go back and I read it, I'm like, I give myself like
what's wrong?
Yeah, I'm like, what was wrong with me in that moment? But then I always go, God, like I would have never gotten there unless I hadn't seen Black Swan. Like, that movie, it's
brilliant.
I hate that movie because it made me love Aronofsky so much that I was like, everything that he did after, I was like, yes, Darren Aronofsky. And then he did that Noah movie, and that wasn't very good. And then he did that Mama or whatever, that Jennifer Lawrence movie. That was I was like,
okay, thank you. We agree on that. That was
that movie is terrible.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Like
it was, and I like.
It's just one giant allegory for the fact that he's a like narcissist, like as a person.
But yeah, and like to say like that the overall like point of the movie is how like, you know, we just like totally shit on Mother Nature, and this is like the over, like I was like, really, that's what we're going for?
Well, and it's funny because like I felt the religious like undertones in the movie, but for me it was more about like, I watched that movie, I'm like, okay, here's an artist talking about how being an artist fucks up relationships and like all of those things because you're like controlling and you need to be, you know, because whatever. And I'm like just watching this movie going, this is Aronofsky talking about himself, and then the entire press tour, him and Jennifer Lawrence, who ended up dating him for like a stretch of time, which was weird. But like both of them were talking about how like, oh, this movie is like just only it was all religious all like the whole way. I'm like, all right, when you say it, I can see it, but like, don't tell me that you weren't making like this narcissistic movie that's kind of about yourself and probably how you function as an artist.
Yes, it was a total cover up.
Yeah, like try to pass it off like, oh, it's this like movie with all these religious symbols and things. I'm like, yeah, I mean, there's religious allegories in there, but like it's all an allegory for like the fact that like you're a narcissist.
Yeah, it's like if the shoe fits, you can't ask us to like paint a totally different picture based on what you're saying when we're seeing what we're seeing.
And then I was waiting for horror elements because the trailers made it look like it was going to be like a suspense horror movie.
Yeah,
and there was never nothing scary about it. And then the end was just too fucked up. I couldn't like when they start like taking apart the baby. I was like, no, I'm out. Like I can't. I know. You've crossed all the lines that I don't want someone to cross in the movie.
It was like, yeah, and you're just like, and she's just like, no, my baby.
Yeah,
like it was like, what the? Where are your instincts?
Yeah, man. Like I'm punching people in the face.
Right? How come nobody's lost a tooth in this scene yet? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, there was a good movie in there somewhere. Like if you would have pulled the right strings at the right parts, you could have made that movie a good movie.
Yeah, but like, don't tell us that it's one thing when it's completely another thing. Like
it's like I don't know if this is like to be faulted by M. Night Shyamalan or like people who make these twist movies, but like don't misdirect me in a trailer. Like tease
Come on now. Yes.
Like tease the movie and give me an idea of where you're going. You don't have to reveal everything, but don't try to set a movie up to look like one thing and then deliver something completely different. I had the same thought with It Comes at Night. Did you see that one?
Trying to think of that right now.
It's I think it's Joel Edgerton is in it, and like the whole movie takes place in the woods, and there's like a disease that's like out in the world. It's kind of like a pandemic is like out in the world, like they can't like come in contact with people or whatever. But and I think like they have like a foster kid or an adopted kid who's black. But like the whole movie, like the trailer made it look like it was going to be this like suspense, psychological, like fucked up horror movie where it was like, you're seeing these things. And then all the things that were scary in the trailer, which is what most of the trailer was made up of, are dream sequences in the movie. So like, yeah, the imagery is disturbing or scary, but once you understand that anytime it's happening, it's a dream sequence, it takes all the horror out of it because it's not real within the context of the movie. So like none of those things actually happen. I like just sat there and you get to the end of the movie. I'm like, this seemed kind of like another one of those like Mother Nature, like Earth PSA type films. And I'm like, dude, like that, you lied to me. Like you sold me one thing and then you served me a pile of shit.
You know what though? But I mean, you can't be mad at the people who are making those trailers because that's what's bringing in the people. You know what I mean? And I get that, but like,
just do better.
When you're putting a bow on it and you're highlighting all the parts of the movie that don't really have to do with the movie itself.
Exactly.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, I'm like,
but like the whole thing with Mother, like you cannot tell me that was about like preserving Mother Earth and everything else that they were trying to fucking. It's like saying that it was about, adolescent fears. Like shut the fuck up. You couldn't. That couldn't be.
It's just like it was too many metaphors inside of a giant allegory. Where I was like, at this point, I'm seeing one movie that the director apparently wasn't trying to make. So I'm like, you've put too many things in that mean something else than what you're actually like. I was just like, too many metaphors. I don't need an entire movie to be an allegory, like in that sense of the word, like. Or
if it is, then just make it that.
A lot of it just didn't work for me. I was just like,
yeah, same. I can't tell you how many times I went to go put on that movie when we had, but I forgot what we had at that time. We definitely had to stream it. Like it wasn't like we didn't have, it wasn't like out on anything yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we were using like Kodi through Roku, and we downloaded. And I think for like 2 or 3 months, I was like streaming it, downloading it, waiting, and then it would come out blurry, and I was like, fuck. Not today. So I was doing this for like at least 2 months, and then it finally came out. So I was so pissed when that happened.
Did Chris watch
was
that
like,
movie with you?
No, Chris is done with me. Chris is like, because I've made him. I mean, have you ever seen Neon Demon?
Yes, I watched that in California with you.
I think that was the line that he was like, fair. I'm not watching. Yep. It's definitely fair. Yeah. That movie was dog shit. Like the best part of it was is it Elle Fanning?
Yeah, I mean she's super talented.
I mean, she's enchanting, and like they're just like
it's
the
funny,
director of that movie made a beautiful piece, but like
when I watched it
dog shit
with you, I dozed for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I woke up.
Made Chris watch it again.
I woke up during she pukes an eye out right toward the end of the movie, and I woke up during that sequence. I was like, what is happening with this movie? And then I went back and rewatched it, and I was like, it was too out of the box, and like too it was too abstract, like for a movie. Like it I don't mind abstract movies, but like even abstract movies have like some sort of like,
what was the ending? The girl got like eaten by a tiger or something. Where did that come from?
I don't know. But Elle Fanning was really good. Like she's a great actor.
She's always good, but
yeah, the movie, I was just like, I just didn't understand what was happening at all in that movie. And I watched.
Yeah, I think after that he's like, I'm done watching horror movies with you. It was like Mama and Neon Demon. He was like, I'm done. He was like, if you want to watch them on your own.
Yeah. You know, it's a great movie that I want to go back and rewatch. That we watched was Goodnight Mommy. Do you remember that? That's the one with the two kids. It
was a foreign film.
Yeah.
And the mother's face was all disfigured.
Yeah.
Right? That was an excellent movie.
That director,
because it was really just one of the kids, right? And he had like this like
so the movie is built to make you think that
there are two kids.
that the mother isn't the mother. Like the whole, like she's an imposter.
Yeah.
And then it also is making you believe that there are two kids the whole movie, but you find out that one of them died like at some point, and like it's the ghost and talking in the kid's ear.
Yeah.
Making the kid believe that their actual mother. Movie. What I took away from the end of the movie is that it was their actual mom, and the dead kid made the living kid like kill her,
turn against the mom. Yeah,
he was pissed at. I think the mom. Does the mom have something to do, or like I don't?
Maybe she like
favored
the other son or something.
Something like that, where it's like he just had a gripe with her, and it's like, but the whole movie is built around the fact that like you think some imposter came home instead of the mom, and she's got that like all of that like wrapping on her face from the plastic surgery, and then it's like
that was well done. That was a good fucking story.
Oh yeah, so here
that and Shudder, like the original Shudder, by the way, are the only two like good like foreign films that I've ever seen.
Oh, horror is built for foreign film. Foreign horror movies are so much better than American-made horror movies.
Did you see the original Shudder?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Like they do.
They're just darker. They're so much darker.
There's I don't like. It's almost like there's like a level of like people in America maybe like protect like their kids or things from like certain stuff, and like I feel like it's a lot looser when you're like overseas, whether it's Europe or like Asia or stuff. Like I love Asian horror movies, are phenomenal. And international film in general is really interesting because it just gives you perspectives on things that you haven't like seen before. Like if you guys haven't watched Parasite yet, you have to. It's on Amazon now.
No, well, we want to. Is it a movie or is it a TV show?
It's a movie, and HBO is making a television show out of it.
Yeah, we've been wanting to watch that. We will.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Is it about what's going on right now?
No. So it's about this lower income family in South Korea.
Uh-huh.
And like the one.
Don't tell me too much.
No. But like the one son's friend is like going away, for like summer or whatever, and he knows that like his friend and his friend's family aren't like they don't have a lot of money, so he's like, look, I tutor this girl in English. You have pretty good English skills. Why don't you tutor her? Easy money. And he's also like kind of leaving it like to him because he doesn't think he'll make a move on this girl like when he comes back from college or whatever. Like he's like interested in this girl, so like that's the reason he picks the friend. But when the friend gets there, he sees that there's like a maid and a driver and basically like a tutor, and figures out how to get all those people removed so that his family can take those spots, and like all of them start like taking advantage of this really wealthy family. That's the basis of the movie.
Okay. Is it all in Korean?
All in Korean.
Okay.
But it flows so well that like once you're 5 minutes in, you don't even realize that you're reading the subtitles. And
I'm so excited to watch that.
I promise you, what I just told you is like a fraction of the movie.
The tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, like there's stuff that goes on where it's like for me, I find the first half, like, because I've seen some people like compare it to Joker as far as like the type of feeling it leaves you in.
I haven't seen that yet either.
Like, oh my God, Sue.
I know.
Oh my gosh, it's Joaquin's like it's one of the best performances in the last 10 years.
I mean, he's just mind blowing as an actor, so I can't see it being bad. I just haven't gotten like around to it.
I mean, it's dark. Like, it's
with these
dark.
endless days that I'm home.
It's like it's one of those like it's not going to leave you in a good mood because like you watch it and you just go like I watched it and I went, we're literally one crazy person from what like the anarchy type shit that happens in the movie from happening here. So like it doesn't leave you in the best mood, but if you're a fan of the Joker and like the Batman world, I thought it was just brilliant, and the acting performance is unbelievable. But Parasite, like I'm watching Parasite, and the first half is so enjoyable. Like it's like you're rooting for this family, and you're watching them like work this like rich family, and you're like, yes, get it, and like you're laughing and like you're having a good time, and then it takes a hard right, but not like Hereditary's hard right. Like it takes you into a spot where I love the entire back half of the film, and your jaw, it'll be just on the ground most of it. It's so good.
I know. I'm excited to watch that one.
Best movie I've seen in the last 5 years, without a doubt.
Whoa.
Like not even remotely close. Like
I'm gonna see if I could talk Chris into this right now.
Yeah, I didn't pick it to win Best Director just because like the award show, the BAFTAs tend to always get the director right, and like they had went with Sam Mendes. But outside of that, I picked it to win all of the categories that it was in, and then it won all of its categories, including the director. It's so good. Like, did you ever see the movie Snowpiercer with Chris Evans? It's like the entire world freezes over, and they create a train that just never stops moving, and it takes 1 year to go around the entire Earth. And same thing though, it's like a class structure. So like the rich people are up in like the nice cars and like are eating good food, and the poor people, which is the majority of the train, is all the way in the back car, and it's like tight quarters. There's no space. They have to eat like this jelly protein bar that's gross, and it's essentially Chris Evans and like a group of people going from the back of the back car to the front of the train. Fantastic movie. It was Bong Joon-ho's first like American film. That's the dude that made Parasite. So when I heard his name, I was like, oh my God, Bong Joon-ho is the dude who did Snowpiercer. Such a great movie. And then this same thing, like it's another cast struggle thing, but it's probably easily the most original movie I've seen in like the last 5 or 10 years. And it's just like it was so original, and the whole story it's so good, Sue. Like I love it.
I love
so
that.
much.
Okay, I'm on it.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to sell people on like subtitle movies sometimes, and everybody I talk to,
I'm all about it.
Yeah, everybody I talk to, I'm like, you have to see this movie. Like, don't worry about the subtitles; it's so good. Like one of my buddies said, like, yeah, like it doesn't do great with subtitles. He's like, you don't even need to pay attention to the subtitles to understand what's going on in the movie. That's how well made it is. Wow. But the directors that did Goodnight Mommy did a movie called The Lodge, which is American. So like it's their shot at an American movie.
Wait, based off of Goodnight Mama?
No. It's the two directors from Goodnight Mommy, Severin Fiala and Veronica Franz. They directed and wrote The Lodge.
Okay.
Which was a horror movie that came out this year.
Okay.
I'd be interested in your take on it. It's Jaden Martell, so the kid who plays Billy in the It movies. You saw the new It, right?
Yeah.
So like the main character, Billy, that's that kid, and then it's this actress Riley Keough, and then there's like a younger like sister, but basically Riley Keough is the father's mistress that's led to the divorce that's happening at the beginning of the movie. And they're supposed to go away to the lodge, and he's like, I want you to like, I'm gonna have Grace come, like I really want you, like talking to the kids to like get to know her or whatever. And then he bails like right away and just kind of leaves them in the house. And it's kind of like a same vibe to Goodnight Mommy in the sense that like fucked up shit starts happening and you don't know if it's the kids or if it's Riley Keough's like character.
Yeah.
So like it's like this back and forth that's going on between the kids and this, potential stepmother for them that they hate. Ooh. And you don't know if it's the kids doing shit or if it's her doing shit. And it's like got like some like it was like a low-key subtle horror movie that kind of fell under the radar that I really dug. But and, like knowing it was coming from the two women who did, or the woman and guy who did Goodnight Mommy, I was like, oh man, like I wanted to make sure I pointed you toward that one because they're the same ones that did that movie.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I have so many good movies to watch now.
I hope. I don't want you coming back being like, F you, you dumb motherfucker. Why'd you make me watch this movie? It was stupid. Hopefully I'm pointing you in good directions this time around.
No, listen, even about like Midsommar, like I will definitely be revisiting it because I think that there's at least like enough there that I can watch it again and have a slightly different perspective. Yeah. So I want to give it another shot. Like I think that there was just so much hype on the movie.
Sometimes you gotta walk away from a movie that like you have up here and then it comes in down here, and if you stay away from it, it might come in like somewhere in here instead.
It wasn't my favorite, but I'll at least like watch it again and like
there's lots of things to appreciate in that
and just analyze it a little bit more. Yeah, definitely.
All right, I'm gonna let you go because it's 1:00 in the morning here on the East Coast.
Oh shit!
Time zones.
I know. I hate it.
No, don't apologize. This was a lot of fun. I always enjoy talking to you, and we will definitely have to do this again.
Same. Thank you so much, Corey.
Love you, Sue.
All right. Love you too, babe.
See you Thursday? I'll
see you Thursday.
Sounds good. Tell Chris I said hello and that this was way more enjoyable than his 2 hours.
Well, as I live and breathe, you still here? Check out a video like this one or this one and hit the subscribe button so you can get alerts and check out everything the Seaman's got at the cinema Sitdown.